What's up, everybody, and welcome to the HexxedPhenom Gamescast, the show that brings you the video game news you need to know each and every week. It goes live every Saturday on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom and on podcast services around the globe, places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, really any podcast service of your choosing. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Wojcik, aka HexxedPhenom, and I am joined by the abstract rocker, GP. GP, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's definitely been going. Getting a lot of stuff done, and it's continuing to prep for this new job. So we start April 25th, and I'm excited.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
But JP, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's definitely going, man. How's it been going for you?
Well, I mean, we talked about it a little bit before the podcast started, but today was a day from hell just because, if you guys don't know, I work at a grocery store, and so there's like 3 major grocery stores in the town that we live in, and one of them burned down.
Yeah.
So now the other 2 have been flooded by, significantly more customers than we're used to. And so, especially now around the holidays, it's like, it happened like right before Thanksgiving, I think. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, and now Easter, it's just been absolutely insane. But thankfully, I'm off the next 3 or 4 days because I put in vacation time for my birthday. So that's good. I don't have to see that place for 4 days. I'm happy about that. But
Right.
Yeah, other than that, can't complain.
Well, ironically, I think they have an update on Wise. I think they want to open it around Memorial Day, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think Tyler was saying something about that.
It's something like that. So I'm really excited for Wise to come back, just because that's where I get my sushi and everything from. So when it burned down, I was like, wow, unless I go to a restaurant, I can't actually go buy fresh packaged sushi. That's actually really good. But yeah, it's definitely going, man. I can't imagine how you guys feel in the grocery store industry. That has to be fucking killer at this point, especially just, like you said, with holidays and everything else happening.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about grocery stores. We're here to talk about video game news.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, JP, do you want to talk about what you've been playing this week?
Well, let me tell you, I've actually had the chance to go back on. Well, I was playing Zombie Army, and I
Nice.
actually got some new DLC for it, which is great. But in terms of missions, so that was good. But outside of Zombie Army, I've been on Grand Theft Auto a little bit, and one thing that I've actually been really trying to do, and I finally got to do it, was I got to actually get back on Far Cry 6. So
Nice.
I started really going through that and really nailing it, and I made really damn good progress this past week. So slowly just getting around to all these games I have to catch up on and platinum and do all that hoo-ha with. But it's definitely going. Really have plans to play a hell of a lot more games, because next week I basically don't have much happening. I get to just chill out and review the script and just have a good week. I got my 100% read through tomorrow, and other than that, I'm basically just set. Got my fingerprints did for my producer license and all, so everything should kind of just happen all next week, and then I could roll into this new thing on April 25th. So
Nice.
yeah, it's definitely been going, man. What games have you been playing? Because I know we got to definitely do some zombies and shit soon, eventually.
Yeah. Pretty much just about the only thing I think I've played this week is the new Lego Star Wars. I'm not sure if I talked about that on the podcast last week or not. I might have. I don't remember. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to get it right away. I think I want to say that I talked about this on the podcast last week, but I'll just reiterate because, like I said, it's the only thing I've been playing pretty much. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it right away, but then me and my buddy Mark decided to both buy it and kind of play it together. Not actually like co-op, because there is no online co-op. So he just bought it on PC, I bought it on PS5, but we just kind of hopped in a Discord chat and played together at the same time.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up.
But yeah, because like he and I used to play that Lego Star Wars 1 and 2 all the time on the PS2 together.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so it was very nostalgic getting to play a new Lego Star Wars game. But they it was honestly like really surprising to me that I kind of thought it was just going to be like a remaster of the games they had already done and then just adding in the last couple movies. But they actually like completely redid like not the controls necessarily, but like they kind of like zoomed in the camera so it's more of like a traditional like third person action game, and they redid a lot of the controls for like combos and shooting and lightsaber fights and different boss fights and stuff like that. Like, I mean, obviously like a lot of them they're all still based on the same Star Wars movies. So it's, you're playing through a lot of the same moments, but they've definitely breathed new life into them, which I was really happy about. And I think if you have any interest in Star Wars whatsoever, I think you'll love this game. And even if you don't, I still think it's a good time to just play and chill or play with, some kids. I mean, I never even liked Star Wars before I played the original games, and it was those original games that made me want to get into Star Wars. So I think this game could possibly be that for the next generation of kids or, whoever. So, but yeah, that game is fun. There's so much stuff to do. Like, I played through all 9 movies, and now I'm just going back into like the free roam and just finishing stuff off to try to get the platinum trophy. And man, it is insane. There is so much to do in that game. So I'm definitely slowly chipping away at that. But other than that, that's, like I said, it's pretty much all I've been playing this week. So
hey, at least we're all playing some good stuff, and more good stuff to happen soon.
Hell yeah.
It really just comes down to a lot of time management. The cool part is with this new gig. So I told them I'm going to be doing Monday to Friday. I'm not going to do weekends. In training, it's, I think they told me like a 9 to 9, but they're central. So it's like 10 to 10, but there's a lot of spaced out time. So I could be like in there from 10 to 12:30, and, then, we'll be off for like 3 hours and go back for a little and, take a dinner break and stuff. So it's actually not that bad. So I think during that free time, I'm actually going to be playing a lot of games and getting some good food or something. It's just really cool to have a job where I have a lot of options and a lot of downtime. And once I get out of training, what I want to do is I want to work Monday to Thursday, just have Friday to Sunday off. So yeah, other than that, I just have to sell, and just meet clients that have the hot leads. And yeah, so it's going to be good. I'll have a lot of time to definitely be gaming, especially once I hit Friday to Sunday. But yeah, the training is 100 clients, or basically 2.5 months. So it's actually not so bad that Bree and I's move got pushed off with everything happening. So at least I don't have to move in the middle of training. So, yeah, life's just happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
All right, JP, let's hop into the first news story today, which is that The Witcher 3's next-gen update has been delayed, and CD Projekt Red says that it's not in development hell, but we still don't know when it's coming. This is by Austin Goslin over at Polygon. CD Projekt announced on Thursday that it's taking over development of The Witcher 3's next-gen update, which it had outsourced, and is now evaluating how much extra work the new version of the game needs. Despite how gloomy this may sound, the developer clarified on Friday that the update isn't in development hell, but also didn't provide a release window. Quote, I've been looking at headlines that popped up here and there over the internet, and I've seen one that really drew my attention, which is Witcher 3's next gen delayed indefinitely, which sounds like the game is in sort of development hell. Mikhail Nowakowski, CD Projekt Red Senior Vice President of Business Development, said during the company's investor teleconference on Friday. Quote, I want to state that this is not the fact. There's been a lot of insinuation that we're going to launch in June of next year or something like that. That's completely not the case, end quote. It's worth noting that the original announcement of the next-gen update's delay was through The Witcher's Twitter account, which CD Projekt runs. The tweet stated CD Projekt was taking development of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game in-house, and that it was delaying the game's release and evaluating potential new dates. Quote, the game is going to be finished in-house. We're evaluating our time, and that requires a bit of investigation. That's all we're saying. End quote. Nowakowski explained. Quote, nobody is saying the game is delayed in some monumental time gap ahead of us. That's as much as I can say about The Witcher Next Gen, but I really want to emphasize that fact, end quote. CD Projekt also clarifies on the call that the work taken on by the team to develop The Witcher 3's next-gen in-house game won't affect the development of the studio's next game. Despite all this, the call didn't involve any specifics on when the next-gen versions of The Witcher 3 might actually be released, but at least we know for sure now that it isn't going to be June 2023. So, JP, interesting thing about The Witcher, but there's a story that I think should be paired alongside of it, and that is that Cyberpunk 2077's first expansion is coming in 2023. Patience is a virtue. This is by Andrew Webster over at The Verge. Now that Cyberpunk 2077 is in a somewhat more stable position, developer CD Projekt Red is talking more about its future, including the game's first expansion. Today, the studio revealed that the previously announced expansion for the game will be launching in 2023. Unfortunately, that's all we know. There's no information on what to expect from the first major content update from the game. CD Projekt Red says to expect more details, quote, later this year. The news was revealed as the studio outlined its plans for the upcoming production, which includes continued work on Cyberpunk, development of the next Witcher game, which kicks off a new saga for the franchise and is built entirely in Unreal Engine 5, and the next-gen update for The Witcher 3, which is currently delayed indefinitely. CD Projekt Red also revealed that Cyberpunk 2077 has sold more than 18 million copies since launching in 2020. By comparison, From Software's Elden Ring hit 12 million sales in just a few weeks after debuting earlier this year, and The Witcher 3 has sold more than 40 million copies since 2015. In addition to the work on its big franchises, CD Projekt Red says it's also in the midst of, quote, conceptual and research work on unannounced projects. So, JP, a lot of information about both The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077, but I thought it made sense to kind of put those two stories together, because I think that one of these things is causing the other, if that makes sense. Like, I think them having to take on the extra work for this Witcher, the Witcher Next Gen update, has pushed this DLC now out to 2023. Because if I remember correctly, they had previously stated that they were aiming to launch the first expansion at the end of 2022, and now it's sometime in 2023. So, very interesting. Do you have any thoughts about either of these things? I know you don't play either of the games, but
I don't play either. I really thought Cyberpunk would have their shit together kind of by now. It's just kind of crazy knowing that. I mean, this game was in development for a while, but at the same time,
not long enough.
Not long enough, because then you had the shit show that happened with it. I don't even. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is, for the most part, pretty dead. I know people like to joke about Vanguard being dead, but I don't know, man. At least Vanguard didn't royally fuck up like Cyberpunk. It's really unfortunate because, you know, they really had the best intentions, but then of course the whole development thing happened, and next thing you know, they're trying to essentially just resurrect the past and try to make it well. And I mean, they're trying, but I don't know. The thing is, people anymore don't have patience remotely at all. I mean, they didn't before the pandemic. They certainly don't now. So what is that actually going to do to that game? I have no idea. I'm glad they're moving forward with DLC, but I think hearing 23 is going to piss off a lot of people. I know a few that it already has kind of pissed off. So I don't know, man. They're kind of under the gun at this point. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. I don't know if this game could even be salvaged. I really don't. But at least we got Keanu Reeves, you know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know, and you got some crazy features in the game. But and then The Witcher, I don't even know. They could just have fun with that. I know I surprisingly know a little more about Cyberpunk than The Witcher, which is kind of ironic. But yeah, we'll have to see what they do. It should be really a catch-22, and we'll just see where they go. I mean, gaming's always been quite a beast, and obviously now with everything and the struggles and next-gen hardware, yeah, it's definitely starting to kind of mellow itself out in a way. I guess you can call it taming chaos. It's just hitting the fan in all different directions anymore.
Yeah, for me, I bought Cyberpunk 2077 when they first launched the next gen version, because it was on sale on the PlayStation Store for like $10 or $15. I mean, am nowhere close to finishing it, and I bought it at a time where like I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be able to finish it at that point because it was only a couple days before that whole period started where there was like a new game coming out like every other day or like every week almost, where it was like Dying Light, then it was Horizon Forbidden West, and then it was Gran Turismo, and then it was WWE, and then, you know, like just one right after the other after the other. So I didn't get a chance to finish it. I played maybe like I want to say like maybe 10 to 12 hours, and I really liked it. I really want to go back to it, and I will eventually, but I don't know if this paid DLC is going to speak to me enough to want to invest in it, you know what I mean? The Witcher 3, I bought The Witcher 3 on sale like a long ass time ago, and I played the first like 2 hours, and it was just not for me. Like, I understand why people love that game, but I can't get into the whole like medieval like fantasy setting. So, and that's exactly what The Witcher is. So I understand why people like it. It seems like a great game, but it's not for me. I have zero interest in anything occurring in that, you know, setting or time period, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's interesting. Apparently, I don't remember if the article said, apparently the studio they had outsourced that Witcher 3 next gen update to was, well, I guess is in Russia, so that's why they had to take on this extra work themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew that played a role somewhere. I was just kind of waiting to see where it would ultimately come into play. Yeah, man, this whole Russia Ukraine thing, I don't even know. We are now going. I think at the time we're recording this, I think it's 52 days now. This has been going on. Yeah, you know, I just think it's kind of strange how Putin's like, oh yeah, it'll be over in 4 days. yeah, okay, gotcha. But you know, I really do feel bad for the Russian people that are actually not for this at all and aren't bad.
Which, to be fair, is most of them.
Yeah, a mass majority of the Russian state is against the war. They can paint it however the hell they want. That's just how it is. The mass majority always rules, and if it's not for you, then fuck you. That's basically it. That's how majority rule always has worked, and it is still working, especially with the internet. It's very easy to chime on that, but we'll have to see what the hell happens. It should be interesting at this point. I mean, God, man, a lot of my friends in Russia really don't even have many luxuries anymore. They're just kind of there.
Yeah.
I'd love to eventually go to Russia, but I feel like that's been heavily goddamn delayed now. And well, the results of all this that is happening is probably going to impact that in the long run. But
Definitely.
yeah. So you're already starting to see it in every kind of industry, and I mean, this is the example for the gaming industry. It's, you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, people are going to do shit like that. There's going to be sanctions, and there's going to be a lot of consequences. So yeah, we'll have to see where it plays out, but yep, it's definitely it's definitely interesting, I can tell you that.
Yeah. All right. The next news story is Kingdom Hearts 4 has been announced, and it will kick off Sora's new story arc. Sora, Donald, and Goofy are back. This is by Michael McWhirter over at Polygon. The next mainline Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 4, is now in development. Square Enix announced Sunday during a 20th anniversary live stream for the franchise. A new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 confirms the return of Sora, Donald, and Goofy for a brand new adventure and what Square Enix calls an epic new storyline named The Lost Master Arc. Kingdom Hearts 4's first trailer introduces the Quadratum, which, while looking a lot like Tokyo, is described by Square Enix as an expansive city in a gorgeous, realistic world unlike anything ever seen before in the Kingdom Hearts series. The trailer also introduces Kingdom Hearts fans to Strelitzia, a new character. Square Enix did not announce a release date or platforms for Kingdom Hearts 4. First screenshots of the new Kingdom Hearts are in the gallery below. Square Enix also announced a separate game, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link, in development for Android and iOS devices. The mobile game features adventures set in the world of Scala ad Salem from Kingdom Hearts 3 and battles against the Heartless. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link will feature a new story, Square Enix says, but will almost assuredly tie into the story of Kingdom Hearts 4. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link does not have a release date, but a closed beta test for the game is scheduled for 2022. Kingdom Hearts 3 was released in 2019 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and later came to PC in 2021 and Nintendo Switch earlier this year. The third main game in the franchise attempted to tie up years of complex storylines for multiple spin-offs and side stories featuring protagonists Sora, Riku, and Kairi, and the dozens of Disney characters they fought against and alongside over the past 2 decades. In Square Enix announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4, series brand manager Ichiro Hazama said, "We'd like to thank the fans for all of their support over the years, and we can't wait for them to experience all that's to come for Sora. We've been honored to work with Tetsuya Nomura and his team for 2 decades to introduce these original stories of discovery, courage, and friendship." Added Nana God, director at Walt Disney Games, "This glimpse into Sora's next adventure is just the beginning, and we can't wait to show you when the time is right." So, GP, have you played a Kingdom Hearts game before? Are you excited? Does this excite you? Does this announcement excite you? What do you think about Kingdom Hearts 4?
I remember playing Kingdom Hearts way back when it first started. God, was that like 2004?
They said it was a 20-year anniversary, so I guess it came out in 2002.
Oh, so it was 2000. Okay, it was 2002. Okay, I knew they had something going on in the mid 2000s. 2002 was the year. That was a pretty good year.
2004 might have been when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out.
Yeah, I think that might have been that. I remember when Kingdom Hearts happened and Kingdom Hearts 2, and then it's just ironic because it never went anywhere for like good 10 years or something.
They had a ton of spin-offs, but then the next mainline game was Kingdom Hearts 3, which they said came out in 2019.
Yeah, they took a 15-year break.
I don't know if you would call it a break, because like I said, in that time they literally made like 8 or 9 spin-off games.
Oh, they actually, okay, as many people don't. I mean, I didn't even hear of any of the spin-off games.
Oh my god, dude, they have some of the weirdest fucking names, because they're just like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 385 over second days and Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories, and it's like stupid shit like that, and it's like none of it fucking makes any sense. They always have weird ass fucking names.
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing any of those.
A lot of them were for like DS and stuff or mobile games, so that's why. Dude, I don't think most of them got any console releases until they started packing them all together in different packs, and so there was like a Kingdom Hearts, I think they called them like 1.5 something. So there was like a Kingdom Hearts 1.5 mix or something like that. And it would be like Kingdom Hearts 1 and like 2 spin-offs that are like associated with the Kingdom Hearts 1 storyline. And then they put out a Kingdom Hearts 2.5, which was 2 and like a couple of spin-off games associated with it.
Wow.
All in one package. And then they put out the ultimate thing, which was called Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 HD Remix, which was all of those things bundled together. And then there was Kingdom Hearts 3.
So they were already on the bandwagon of re-releasing everything practically. Wow,
pretty much, yeah. They've been re-releasing these games for a while too.
Wow, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I had no idea outside of 1, 2, and now 3. That's why I'm like, wow, they took forever to make the damn installment. Yeah, I've never really been interested in it too much. I mean, I know a lot of friends that have been really into those games after a while, but I don't even know. It's just there's such a time gap and no one gave a fuck about the DS. I mean, I eventually had a DS in the early going, and I'm like, this really isn't, I don't know, it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I just kind of just didn't give a shit about the DS era. But yeah, that's probably why I only know of the 3 titles, because they're on the main consoles that everyone plays. So that's definitely interesting. But yeah, I guess hurrah the 20 years. Yeah, like I said, this is all news to me with all the stuff they did. I only thought they did 3 installments and rehashed a bunch of shit. That was about it.
Yeah.
So, hey, at least they're making a 4th game. It's better now than ever, I suppose.
Yeah. For me, I don't actually, I didn't own it. I was game sharing it, so now I wouldn't be able to go back anyways and play them. But I did make an attempt to start playing Kingdom Hearts 1 a couple times, and I think it's a mixture of just being like, because these re-releases, they weren't like remasters, definitely. They were just upscales, basically. So they played the same, the controls were the same, pretty much everything was the same. They were just kind of upscaled a little bit. And I don't know if it was just because they felt clunky because of how old they were, or well, like I said, I only tried one. I don't know if it was clunky because it was old or if it's just, I don't know. But I never really loved Final Fantasy games to begin with. Like, the only one that's ever gotten me in was Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I don't know. There's something about Kingdom Hearts. Like, the idea is cool of it being like an RPG, like, you know, kind of a cross between Final Fantasy and Disney, which is cool. But it's just, I've never been able to get into it. Something about the gameplay and the controls, it just doesn't feel right to me. And it's not, I've never had fun playing Kingdom Hearts. I tried to play it a bunch of times. I think the furthest I got was maybe like 6 or 8 hours in, if that. Yeah. My sister, Kayla, absolutely loves Kingdom Hearts, so I'm sure she's excited for this. But, yeah, I don't know.
At least she's stoked for it.
I don't really have a history with it, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say it always looked appealing to me. I just never really got into it. It just kind of looked like a mishmash of a bunch of games at the time, which I guess that was the point. But
3 looked interesting in the sense that it looked a lot more modern and it looked a lot more smooth, but like, I don't want to just hop into 3 if I don't know all the stupid complex shit that goes on in all the other 7 games or whatever, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. We'll see. But if I know anything, I think, I mean, see, it's weird because, like, there was such a huge gap between 2 and 3 that, like, this was very unexpected, I feel like. But I'm interested to see, like, how long this actually takes to come out, because from what I remember, I want to say Kingdom Hearts 3 was like one of the first PS4 games announced, and it didn't come out until 2019. So I'm pretty sure it was either at, it might have been even shown before the PS4 released. I could be wrong on that. It was either there or at E3 2014. It was either at E3 2013 or 2014. And then it didn't come out until 2019. So I have a weird feeling, or maybe a bad feeling, I guess, that people are going to be waiting quite a while for this game to come out.
yeah, I was gonna say I think it's gonna be a little while possible. So
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal trailer. E3 2013. It was at the Sony press conference at E3 2013. So before the PS4 even came out, and then the game didn't come out until 2019. So
yeah, because I remember hearing about that game for so damn long, which is probably another reason why I just kind of lost interest. If I keep hearing about, I should say, if I keep hearing about something, you know, I always like to use the Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy thing as a good example. It's like, okay, I love Guns N' Roses, and that's probably the only reason why I even gave a damn to listen to that album after it took 14 years, 4 re-recordings to put out, and you know, but that's because I love Guns N' Roses. Now for a series that I don't really know of, I gotta say that I wouldn't give a shit if it took you longer than 5 years. I probably would not even think it exists. Grand Theft Auto is probably the closest to that. I know we've been waiting a while between from 4 to 5, now the 5 to 6, but yeah, those are other exceptions. But yeah, once something drops off the radar for so long and it's just in development hell, I kind of just tend to forget it even exists. And that way, if it comes out, hey, I'm surprised, and if not, yeah, it's
see, the weird thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 though, and I mean, I don't know about development hell. I don't know about that part of it. But I wouldn't even say it ever dropped off the radar because they were constantly putting out new trailers for it that were just like, it was mostly the same trailer, but there was like a
Yeah,
couple of different things in it.
I was gonna
And
say
there was like, the trailers are always weird for Kingdom Hearts. Like a lot of them never have sound effects. So it'll just be like music and then and then just voice lines. And it's always really weird. But
yeah, it's like music.
the whole franchise is weird.
Yeah, no sound effects and all. So like, once you see one trailer for Kingdom Hearts, you kind of see them all. Maybe you get 10 new scenes maybe in a trailer. But if it flows exactly the same as the others, I'm just dipped immediately. I'm like, oh, okay, same kind of stuff. All right, cool.
The only way they could possibly get me in, and even then I still probably wouldn't, is if they started including like Star Wars and Marvel stuff, because that is technically Disney now. And even then, I don't think that would get me in. I would probably just watch gameplay of like the Marvel level or whatever, and then just be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't play the whole game for it.
Yeah, you just never fucking know. It's crazy anymore, man. At least it finally released.
That's true. That's true. All right, next news story. PlayStation Report has good news about PS3 backwards compatibility on PS5. This is from Tyler Fisher over at comicbook.com. A new PlayStation Report has good news about PS3 backwards compatibility on PS5. The exotic architecture of the PS3 has haunted PlayStation for many, many years. Not only did it cause developers headaches during the PS3 generation, but it's also been a pain in the side of PlayStation, who have been unable to emulate the PS3 on PS4 or PS5, which means backwards compatibility has been limited to streaming via PlayStation Now only. PlayStation gamers were hopeful that this was going to change with the new PlayStation Plus, but that was announced recently with no word of PS3 backward compatibility. That said, according to a new report, PS3 backwards compatibility is coming to PS5, though it sounds like it won't be fully backwards compatible, and it sounds like it's been a nightmare for PlayStation to figure out. The report came way of Moore's Law is Dead via Sacred Symbols, who claims Sony has been working on cracking the code for PS3 backwards compatibility for years and is finally starting to get closer to realizing this hard work. According to Moore's Law is Dead, Sony has to more or less create many different micro emulators within a larger emulator in order to run various games. Why has it had to do this? Well, the report claims because of the PS3 architecture and how various developers had to deploy various tricks and solutions to work with it. So rather than just create one emulator for all PS3 games, Sony has basically had to create a special emulator studio by studio. This is not only a lot of work, but ensures that when PS3 backwards compatibility does arrive, it'll be limited probably to largely first-party games. Still, some games are better than no games for many PlayStation fans who have been desperate to revisit some of the classics trapped on PS3. For now, though, this is all unofficial information, which means it should be taken with a grain of salt, but it does line up with other recent rumblings about PS3 backwards compatibility being somewhat imminent, and that the unique architecture of the PS3 has made PS3 backwards compatibility very complicated. At the moment of publishing, PlayStation hasn't commented on this report, and considering it hasn't been commented on previous PS3 backwards compatibility rumors, we don't expect this to change. But if it does, we'll update the story accordingly.
Well, so
GP, yeah, what do you think about all this?
I'm just glad it's finally actually happening. I think that is a very good thing that it is finally going somewhere. First party games, if it's only limited that, I really don't give a damn, because that's kind of the games I was expecting anyway to pop out of that. The good news is, as they make an emulator that has other emulators in it, it's kind of interesting, because it kind of reminds me of like when people make moonshine and shit, and you can see the show, goes through different cycles, and eventually it becomes one whole product. No matter how many bells and whistles are thrown into it as it goes through, it still comes out as moonshine. So in the end of this, it's going to come through as a PlayStation 3 game. It's just, you're not going to be able to see what emulators work for what game. It's just going to be, hey, you're playing a game. It goes through the process and it gives you the product. So I think that's pretty cool. We're finally getting there. I think it's interesting knowing how really convoluted the PS3 architecture was. Looking back, it's pretty crazy. It just seemed like your normal console gen, and lo and behold, behind the wall was, the whole the whole thing with hey, you need this to work here, this to do this to do that. So at least we're getting there.
Well, that was actually why at the beginning of the generation, if you remember, a lot of PS3 versus 360, like a lot of multi-platform games, actually performed significantly worse on PS3, and it was because the developers didn't know how to work with it. Because the Xbox, ever since the first Xbox, the Xboxes have always been like basically a PC. Like they run like a modified version of Windows, so they're so easy to develop for.
Mhm.
And PlayStation has gone back and forth with being easy to develop for, but you know, and then PS3 they were just like, what the fuck is this? Like we have no idea how to use this.
Exactly. So when all of it happens, I think it's gonna be a really great thing. I'm assuming what's gonna happen is as soon as this is cracked, you're gonna see this happen in Spartacus. I'm assuming that'll happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be part of it.
And if I really had to guess, since we're getting closer to it, if this is launching in June, I feel like probably by the end of the summer, they might have this PS3 deployment thrown in. Either way, okay, so right now, PS3 games, you have to stream them then, right? Okay,
Yeah.
at least they're on the library.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I mean like kind of like you were saying, like I'm glad they're putting the effort in, making progress on it. I'm not necessarily like bummed that it's going to be a limited thing because I mean that's how the Xbox 360 and Xbox original stuff is on the current Xbox consoles. It's not every single 360 game. It's a limited selection of 360 and original Xbox games. So it being similar to that doesn't really, matter to me. I just hope that eventually they'll get to a point where at the very least every PS3 game that's in the Spartacus library could be downloaded and played with no issues. I think that I don't know if they'll ever get to that point. That's just what I'm hopeful for personally because I love the PS3 games. I want to go back and play some of them, but I really don't like streaming them. So at the very least, if it's a solution for some games, that's great. But ideally, I would like it to be all of the games in that library. But we'll see.
Yeah, like I have a feeling you probably might see stream games only, stream and download games.
Yeah.
PS3 era is a really interesting era. Like I don't know if it was like better than the PS2 era, but it was still good. And the PS4 era really took it, and now you got the 5. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that it should be very interesting. But yeah, if they're finally making progress, something tells me by the end of the summer they might initiate that whole ploy to get you to actually download the PS3 games based off this, emulator and emulator. So it should be interesting.
I just want to address it before we go forward. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone, but someone's apparently running a chainsaw outside my house. So if you guys hear that, I apologize.
I don't. I don't hear. No, I don't. I don't hear anything. So yeah, I think you should be good.
Okay, I just wanted to put it out there. But
oh, Josh, I could hear it all the way from my house.
I was like, "Whoa, all right." This next one is a bit of a sad one for myself and GP. Tony Hawk Remake Studio Vicarious Visions officially drops its name and merges with Blizzard. Staff was informed last year. This is by Nicole Carpenter.
Oh,
Vicarious Visions, the makers of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, have been fully merged into Blizzard Entertainment, the studio said on Tuesday. The development team remains located in Albany, New York, and is focused entirely on Blizzard Entertainment games, it said. The completed merger means a studio founded 31 years ago will lose its name and original branding. Blizzard announced the merger last year, and workers were informed of the name change in October 2021. And then there's a tweet from April 12th. Says, we've officially merged with Blizzard Entertainment. Our development team will remain in Albany, New York, and fully dedicated to Blizzard games. We invite you to follow us at Blizzard Entertainment. Vicarious Visions was founded in 1991 by brothers Kartik and Guabala, who sold the studio to Activision in 2005. Since then, Vicarious Visions developers have worked on ports for titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. The studio is best known for the Crash and Sane trilogy, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, and for supporting last September's Diablo 2 Resurrected. Former Vicarious Visions studio head Jen O'Neill became Blizzard's executive vice president of development after Vicarious Visions folded into Blizzard in January. And then it goes on to talk about all the other Activision stuff that we know here on the channel quite well. Oop, Jesus, I just smashed my knee off my desk. JP, what do you think about this? Obviously a very sad story for us.
It's very sad. You know, as you were saying that, I kind of like, I guess the best way to describe it is, you know, you see those memes on the internet that it's like, it's kind of like, I guess it sums up PTSD, but it sums it up in a way that you see a background photo with another photo layered on top of it. That's like a singular point of view of what they're kind of going through. For me, it's kind of like, I was kind of just like tunnel visioning just memories of the Tony Hawk series and like how much fun we had with the fucking remaster and thing with 3 to 4 and like, yeah, man, it's moving. And then it's just once you see them go in the blizzard, you're like, oh, wow, the times, the fun we had. It just kind of reflected into the past. I know for sure we're gonna definitely get Tony Hawk 3 and 4, and I feel like they're hell bent on doing. Tell you the truth, I think we're gonna get 3 and 4. You're probably gonna see an underground 1 and 2 with American Wasteland levels thrown into it. Now where it goes from there, I really don't know, because like Proving Grounds is really good. Project 8, I would rather just, if they were gonna do a remaster of those games later on, I would say that the next gen games, I would say they should make Proving Ground with Project 8 levels in it. And I think that would probably do it for remastering Tony Hawk, because clearly the money's there. Hell, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 broke a goddamn record. I think it was the fastest selling Tony Hawk game to move, I think, what was it, like 1 million units or something?
Yeah.
It only took like a week or 2.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers, but
they broke a lot of records. So you know they're definitely going to keep doing this. It's just, I don't know. What do you think it is going to be now with them fusing with Blizzard? Like, do you think they'll be able to do their own projects and just help out, or do you think they're at the end of whatever the fuck happens?
No, it seems like they're just folding in to help make whatever Blizzard games. I think the team might be split amongst certain projects. Like, I don't think they're all going to work on the same thing. Like, I'm sure they'll probably fold them in to help on Overwatch 2, I think is like probably the next big Blizzard game that's coming out that I can think of. But I'm sure they'll work on Diablo and what, all the Hearthstone, all the other Blizzard games. But it doesn't seem like, it seems like, I mean, it said in the tweet and in the article that they're going to be fully focused on Blizzard games. So,
damn.
Yeah.
I think we're still going to get those games. Like, I don't think they're going to get.
I think we will too. I just don't think they're going to be made by Vicarious Visions. I think either Beanox or I think probably Beanox would be the studio to do it.
I'd say Beanox. I mean, I don't mind Beanox.
No, definitely not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like,
no, it just sucks. It's not Vicarious Visions. It seems like Vicarious Visions reignited everything from our fucking childhood in the past 5 years. I mean, hell yeah, Crash Bandicoot. I mean, I'm sure that they were on. Did they work on CTR? I know Beanox did. Is Vicarious Visions involved in that?
I'm not sure.
I
don't think their name is anywhere.
Okay, because I know they took they had a lot of input into the remastered things that came out, and some of them they primarily developed, some they were support.
I mean, CTR is definitely based on the Insane Trilogy art style, but I don't know if they actually had a hand in developing the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, it should be interesting. I'm hoping we do get Tony Hawk soon. I think the fall would be perfect. The thing that I wonder now. Now this is like another rabbit hole. So, the Wumpa League. So you had them tease Crash Bandicoot and Tony Hawk. We know Spyro has a new game coming, but that's probably without a doubt going to be next year unless they swap some stuff out. You know, the sequel, hopefully Wumple League is kind of the Crash Bash concept, but at the same time, they're hinting at all this Tony Hawk stuff. So I think something has to happen in the fall. Something has to happen. I just don't know where they're going to go if they don't even make a teaser. Like, even if they don't put out a game in the fall, I think if they could at least just do teasers or be like, hey, there's another game coming. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're at like a whole rabbit hole with a lot of these games that we know are going to happen. We just don't know when. And seeing how there's all this stuff happening with the company and merging and buying each other out, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, what do you think's going to happen in this scenario? Like, we're going to get them. Just when?
Yeah, I think we're going to get them. The only thing that sucks is, like you said, when. I think we know more about Spyro 4, so I think that would probably come out first. I don't know. I could see, honestly, Spyro being this fall and then Tony Hawk being either next spring or next summer-ish.
Because, like, man, at that point, I'd like to know where Spyro is then, because there's been no teasers or anything with Spyro.
Oh shit!
It's already spring.
Well, this is around the time that the Reignited trilogy was announced. So
yeah, this was around the because that came out. Well, that came out in what? Wait, did that come? No, wait, it was Crash
November.
June?
Crash was June. Spyro was supposed to come out in September, and then they delayed it to November, I think.
Okay. So in theory, they could still do this and have it come out in September.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't do what they did with Crash 4. Because I kind of honestly regret even buying that piece of shit. It was like I don't know. I think what really did it for Crash was they overthought the whole process and they made a game that literally was basically a rage simulator. It kind of reminded me of Trials, but a platformer. Like, you had the death counter, the rage. You just kind of gave up or just didn't ever want to play it, or you had fun one day and then you put it down for 2 months. And tell you the truth, I don't think I'm ever going to beat Crash 4. I just don't know. I'm not feeling it. I think that I thought Crash 1 was my least favorite. I think Crash 4, honestly, is I would play Crash 1 probably any day of the week over Crash 4. So I just hope that they don't overthink it. They don't make it too complicated. They don't make it too over the top. And they honestly just do what the remasters were. Just make the next step of what you just remastered. Like, everybody loved the Insane Trilogy, and then Crash 4 comes out and it just basically went under just like that, because everybody's like, this game's too hard, like it's not worth talking about. That's basically it. Like, I enjoyed Crash 4 to an extent, but would it be anything like the other Crash games? No. Absolutely not. I do get the story that they put on there, and I do get that the whole time construct, but other than that, I really just didn't care about it. It's kind of sad, but yeah, I just felt I felt like they really just didn't do what people wanted, and it was pretty obvious out of the gate that people just didn't like it outside of the story. So let's see.
For me, when it comes to Crash 4, I mean, I definitely agree with some of your sentiments. Like, they definitely were like, okay, where can we go from here? Like, let's, what did people talk about the most from the Insane Trilogy? And it was, all these people talking about how it's the Dark Souls of platformers. So let's make the actual Dark Souls of platformers. But that's not what people wanted from it. That's just what people were saying about the Insane Trilogy, which, granted, like, you and I know the Crash games like the back of our hand, so to us it's not hard. So like I can't fathom the concept that somebody finds Crash 1 through 3 to be anything comparable to Dark Souls. One, I could see the case for. Especially the original version of Crash 1. The insane version, not really, but like still. But they were like, yeah, let's double down, let's triple down on that. And like playing through the levels just normally, it's definitely harder than, you know, the original trilogy, but like it's not bad. But like all of the ball busting shit they want you to do for 106% completion or whatever the hell it is, it's not worth it. Like it's not, that is where the game is not fun at all, where there's, you know, in every level, there's just random hidden boxes that are completely hidden off screen. There's no fucking way to see them. You just got to know that they're there. You just got to find a guide and know that they're there. Or, you know, all the different bullshit obstacles that they have, or the insanely perfect relics where you have to break every single box in a level without dying once. And then you need to get the platinum relics if you want to get 106% completion, or you need to get, the flashback tapes and stuff which you have to reach without dying, and all this. Like they took it too far. Like they strayed too far from what I think the actual essence of Crash Bandicoot is. And did they evolve it in a decent way in some places? I think so, but I think they just took the difficulty thing and they took it way too far in the other direction. So for me, like, I think Spyro won't have to worry about that as much, because I don't think people like feel that Spyro is a difficult game, or like I definitely didn't hear the same discourse around the Reignited trilogy that we heard around the Insane trilogy about it being the Dark Souls of platformer. So I think Spyro 4 hopefully should be all right when it comes to that. But
yeah, I think Spyro 4 should be great. It's just, I'm just kind of in this weird mindset because that's exactly what I said about Crash 4.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm like, wow, they have everything to work with. The Reignited, or not the Reignited, the Insane trilogy just came out. They have a great engine to work with. Just work out the buffs that people complained about in the Insane trilogy, like the pill-shaped thing. And you know, and just build a whole new game on that engine, and you're good. And they didn't do any of that. I don't even think they used the same goddamn engine.
Nope, they didn't.
Like
the one for the Insane trilogy was an in-house engine from Vicarious Visions, and for 4 they used Unreal.
God, they should have just stayed in Unreal Engine. See, the thing is, Spyro was made, I believe, in Unreal Engine. I
don't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember, but I just hope they keep it in Unreal, because it made for some really great nostalgia and a great game.
Yeah.
Crash 4, and I played that demo. I'm like, wow, something's telling me not to buy this game, but I don't want to be that person. And then I bought the game and played through half of it. I'm like, this wasn't, I should have just not have bought the game. It kind of hurts being a diehard Crash fan and to be like, wow, this isn't it. But, you know, obviously majority of the people are like, this isn't Crash Bandicoot. This is Crash Bandicoot on steroids. But yeah, hopefully Spyro doesn't have to worry about it. I just don't want to go through another one of those things, because now I don't know what to think of Crash Bandicoot, because who knows? Is the next game going to be made just like that? Yeah, so they're at a very controversial point where they had everything and then they just soiled it with
soiled it.
Yeah, they soiled it. They pissed it all away.
All I know, JP, is if they're not fucking cowards over at Activision, then they will make CTR 2, because that's all I fucking want is Crash Team Racing 2.
That's all I want.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled was so incredibly fucking good, and I need more of it.
It just sucks because I play that game here and there anymore. It's just, you know, like I whoop some people's asses online. I mean, I've already had all the crap bought in that game since the pandemic began, just about, and there's nothing to buy, there's nothing to do on it. You know, it's a great game. I think we really do need a CTR2. I think that's what we need, and they better not fuck it up. They better keep it on the same engine. They better just keep at it on, because I swear, if I get another Crash Bandicoot 4 in my hands, I'm going to be very, very upset.
See, that's where I kind of sit here and wonder, like, what would CTR2 be? And
They kind of have it already labeled out.
on one hand, I feel like it would make the most sense to just build on what they have already. But on the other hand, I could see Activision forcing them to, like, try to make it in the art style of Crash Bandicoot 4. And if it's just an art style change, like, I wouldn't be that mad about it, but that also brings into question, like, I wonder if they would have a limited roster to start, just because there's, like, so many of the people on the CTR Nitro Fueled roster that weren't in Crash 4. So they'd have to completely come up with new, like, looks for all these people. Like, the only main villains or, like, main characters that were in Crash 4 was Crash, Coco, the Masks, Cortex, Engine, Entropy, and Oxide, and that was pretty much it. Oh, Dingo Dial, Tawna. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, outside of those, 8 or 9 that I named, they would have to come up with new designs for everybody. So that's the one thing I would be worried about, but I think they should still make it happen. But JP, we're going to get into our last 2 news stories here real quick, both about Fortnite.
Oh boy.
Well, I guess technically one isn't necessarily about Fortnite, but it has to do with Fortnite. Lego and Sony invest $2 billion into Epic Games. Big brands bet on the metaverse with more than just Fortnite skins. Sony and the company that controls Lego have both invested $1 billion each in Epic Games, the Fortnite maker announced on Monday. The news comes 4 days after Epic and Lego said they were teaming up to build a family-friendly metaverse. Kirkby, which is the holding company that owns the Lego group, is putting the money into Epic, so this is not a direct funding of that metaverse project. Sony's investment triples its stake in Epic Games on top of the $250 million it put into Epic in 2020 and the $200 million it added a year later. We are also confident that Epic's expertise, including their powerful game engine combined with Sony's technologies, will accelerate our various efforts. Kenichiro Yoshida, Sony's chief executive, said in a statement provided by Epic. Epic Games launched Unreal Engine 5 1 week ago. For their part, Kirkby's chief executive, Soren Thorup Sorensen, noted a proportion of our investments is focused on trends we believe will impact the future world that we and our children will live in. End quote. The $1 billion stake aligns with that mission, Sorensen said. The investment and the executive statements all align with Epic's broader strategy of defining and administering the metaverse, a concept that Facebook, Microsoft, and others have latched onto over the past 4 years. Epic's metaverse has largely taken place within Fortnite, where third-party marketeers have regularly collaborated on themed skins and other virtual items or staged virtual events like trailer premieres or concerts. Epic chief executive and founder Tim Sweeney said the same statement that, quote, this investment will accelerate our work to build the metaverse and create spaces where players can have fun with friends, brands can build creative and immersive experiences, and creators can build a community and thrive. End quote. Monday's statement said Epic Games is now valued at $31.5 billion, up another $3 billion from last year's buy-in. The company noted that Epic, whose stock is privately held, remains controlled by Tim Sweeney. So, JP, Epic making big money moves yet again. $2 billion invested.
Yeah, making a lot of money.
That's for damn sure. Definitely interesting. I wonder if PlayStation is going to attempt to possibly acquire Epic. Like, I don't think they have enough money to do that, but I mean, they've put total like almost $2 billion into the company now. So
something like that.
Very interesting. We'll see where that goes. I just wanted to throw it out there that Epic is making big money moves, and that makes sense. Fortnite makes a shit ton of money. They also, of course, own the Unreal Engine, which they make a fuck ton of money off of as well, obviously licensing that out to, God, almost every developer ever. So
yeah, so they're making money.
they are making big money moves, GP. And speaking of big money, speaking of Fortnite and collaborations inside of Fortnite, JP, I've been liking, if I've been saying the last couple of weeks, I've been liking to try to end the show on a lighthearted, funnier news story. So we're going to try to do that again here. JP, Coachella brings style and music to Fortnite with new skins and accessories. The Coachella integration seems thin, but at least there's new clothes and accessories. This is by Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon. Epic Games announced the collaboration with Coachella on its Fortnite blog Thursday, showing off these new additions. There isn't a ton of integration beyond some music and a bunch of outfits, all of which you can see in the gallery below. No, Coachella absolutely won't be live in Fortnite, as Epic Games has done with other musical acts and events. Instead, Fortnite players can dress like they're going to Coachella while playing the Battle Royale game. Coachella's organizers insist on referring to the concert series as a Coachella-verse, and with the collaboration with Epic Games and Fortnite, they're sort of making good of it. Beyond the outfits, there are new accessory skins like a neon shark, a flaming guitar, and a glowing cactus, all of which are reactive to music. Epic Games says there are, quote, first wave of Coachella items dropping Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. The others include an astronaut helmet and a smiley face wearing headphones, and those as well as other full outfits and skins launch on April 21st. The other part of all this is that players can listen to Coachella artists in car radios throughout Fortnite. Quote, Icon radios will air songs from over 30 artists featured in Coachella 2022. Epic Games wrote, while driving around in battle, turn to Icon radio to add good vibes to your side. The full event runs from Thursday to May 16th. GP, are you excited to attend Coachella or dress like you're going to Coachella in Fortnite? I know you don't actually play, but I'm just putting it out there.
Coachella's pretty cool. It's I'm not surprised they're partnering. You got to make money somehow, especially with the live
100%.
The live music industry still taking a hit to this day. My question would be, so when are we going to see Tupac and Big E in Fortnite?
Oh God.
They had the fucking what was it, the hologram of Tupac at Coachella, like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something, when Guns N' Roses reunited. I'd be like, yo, man, where's my Guns N' Roses outfits? But Coachella's always had some really cool things. It's just, it really isn't my scene that much.
Yeah.
Like, some people I'd probably be into, but Coachella is just one of those platforms where, for anyone listening or watching in this case, for anyone listening or watching, Coachella is basically the music festival where it seems like every genre comes together. Every single damn genre in some way comes together at Coachella. So, you could have Guns N' Roses headlining, and you could have Kanye West playing right before them. Like, it's really interesting how Coachella has made their name. But I mean, they really did it in a way that it works so well. And you could see so many fucking bands and crazy things like the Guns N' Roses reunion, LCD, whatever that band is, they had their reunion there. So it's a really big festival. So to see them doing business with Fortnite, I feel like that's probably the future, to see a lot of licensing branding deals happen, but anything's possible. Yeah, we can rock out with cactuses and Fortnite and all.
Yeah, I mean, I know I talked a big game about wanting to play a lot of Fortnite when they had that Spider-Man skin last season in the Battle Pass, and I did end up buying the Battle Pass and playing, but I never unlocked the Spider-Man skin because it was at like level 80 something in the Battle Pass, and I only got to like 30 something. So never got the Spider-Man skin, which sucks. I know they recently added a mode where there is none of the building shit. So I might hop back in and try that. And I know they have another Marvel skin this season in the Battle Pass. I think it's Doctor Strange, which is, I mean, Doctor Strange is cool, don't get me wrong. But to me, definitely not as cool as Spider-Man. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to promise anything, that I'm going to hop in and buy the Battle Pass or anything like that. But I might go in and check out that no build mode see how it is, because that's the thing I like the least about Fortnite is the building.
Yeah, I just like remember as soon as they started saying, "All right, we're not doing builds anymore in Fortnite," and like everybody's like, "Why?" Everyone's lost.
Well, it was for like a week where you couldn't do it in the main mode, but then they brought building back, and now no builds is its own separate playlist. But
That's amazing.
so they coexist, which is nice.
If I ever play
But
Fortnite, it's gonna be that mode, no build.
yeah. But guys, this has been the HexxedPhenom Gamescast, the show that brings you the video game news you need to know each and every week. Goes live every Saturday on youtube.com/HexxedPhenom. And guys, until next time, have a phenomenal week.